Nigam to talk about how Nfdi Foundation for Design Innovation, which is a Section 8 company under Ministry of Textiles, Government of India, how they are helping the startup ecosystem in apparel, textiles, and handloom sector, not only in India, but also helping by providing the wings to those startups to enter into new emerging economies and markets of the world. So to begin with, we have myself, Yash Arya, with Dr. Nigam, ideated that how we can give wing to startups under NFDI for global access or for global market access. So we chose the new markets in African Union by choosing countries like Ethiopia, Zimbabwe, Egypt, South Africa to be our partner, where the startups of our Indian startups under NFDI should get an opportunity in their countries to showcase their products, their technology, their innovation, and we are also willing to invite the startups of their countries to work with our startups so that we can create something unique which is unique in terms of promoting our exports, where the other people should learn from them, and it should bring two countries together towards enhancing the culture, innovation and technology. I would like to now invite on the stage Dr. Ajit Nigam to share his ideas, views and vision of taking NIFT Foundation for Design Innovation to a next level. Thank you.
Morning guys, good to have you here. Friends from Bangalore. So these guys are not from Bangalore, but they have been with us from Bangalore. Friends from Mauritius, friends from Zimbabwe who are not here, representatives from Zimbabwe, friends from Ethiopia, good to have you here, and multiple startups. Some founders are here, some founders are not here, and Dr. Reddy and Yash. So I'm going to talk today, and of course this beautiful lady from Ethiopian Airlines who's there with us, just saw her. So what we're going to talk today is what is the vision of the government and how we as an organization take this idea of putting the startups from the fashion textile space in the world map. And everything actually starts from a seedling. So the idea was of creating a new enterprise within the Ministry of Textiles was born about 2.5 years back. It actually is a child of Corona. It was born during those times when all of us were not in touch with each other. The ministry was working, NIFT was working, and this thought came into being. And this organization called NIFT Foundation for Design Innovation grew out of that. So what is it? How is it going to be? How we can associate with each other and take this to a global map is something we are going to talk about. So the objective of this organization is to create an ecosystem where all of us encompass and integrate with each other. We connect these dots because the minute we are working in silos, we do work for ourselves and only for ourselves. And when we connect these dots, we leverage, we network, and the network externalities are of that nature that a lot of good can happen. with that as an objective, a Section 8 company was incorporated in July 2020. So this company came into existence with the objective of pre-incubation, incubation and acceleration support to organizations to early ideas in this space. Our initial deliverables, which you can see, are these, but no longer is this true. This is, the ministry has asked us to look at a much more larger landscape, and that is why with NIMC we are working together to make a very big growth in this space. So I want you to look at this circular diagram. This circular diagram essentially talks about how do we create this ecosystem. So this diagram is not mine. This is the standard Fisher diagram which is used in the Silicon Valley. If you connect all these dots together, it is only then you are able to leverage. So who are these ecosystem players? You have to have governments, you have to have funding agencies, but can it really work without mentors? One of the most difficult thing is a mentor. Today, mentor in multiple countries also is a much abused term. Everybody says I'm a mentor. For you to be a mentor, you actually should have done what you are mentoring. If you are a startup, you want to be a startup mentor, you should have created a company of your own. Okay, you should have gone through those pains. You should feel the pain of the founder, the kind of issues which are there. Only then you qualify to be a mentor. You cannot be a mentor by the name mentor. I still remember when I sold my first company years ago. Sorry, just going on its own. So there was some challenges. When I had to ask my employees to go, there was pain. If you do not feel that pain, you cannot be a mentor. Okay. That being said, so we would like to invite people from various countries and present here to come together and become part of this mentoring platform in the fashion and textile space. If you have done business, come. If there are industries who are here today, and those who are watching online or would watch online, you would be having certain problems. These problem areas, you would not like to take them on your balance sheets. You would like to outsource them. Okay, this is where the ecosystem comes over. So we are also trying to create what we call a register of problems. These register of problems become the problems which people in the academic world, in the startup world have to solve. You could solve it through your PhDs. So research commercialization is a very important element. People talk about doing great work, but your PhDs do not see the light of the day. Can we convert that into a reality so that you can actually see it on ground? So these are the couple of thoughts which are there during the early stages of this company. 4 focus areas. Within the fashion and textile space, we are looking at home and spaces incubation. Is Ashutosh ji here? Okay, so the Chief Operating Officer of the Home and Spaces Incubator. He's also here, probably he's outside. So the focus of this incubator is that home and spaces becomes a line in itself. And so when we build an ecosystem of that kind, the network effect comes into picture. I have an apparel and athleisure incubator, which would be inside National Institute of Fashion Technology, Chennai. The Smart Wearable Systems Incubator, where you embed electronics into your clothing, okay, and probably you will see some presentations from startups in that space also. The lady from aviation, so let's talk about aviation. Electronics embedded in the pilot's flying overalls to ensure that you monitor his heart rate. You monitor all this information, this data reaches the ground. So before any medical emergency happens in the flying side, okay, this information should be available to the ATC. So those kind of electronics is what we are talking about. Shawls. Indian shawl is a gift item. Son is in the US. Parents are here. How would this child know what is the status of his father, grandparents? That can easily be monitored through electronics embedded in the shawl or on any clothing, and that gets connected through the GPS system to the phone, and real-time information is available. This is becoming a reality. You possibly will also see a presentation sometime. Okay, I can see Ashutosh here. Ashutosh, can you stand up, please? Can you stand up, please? Ashutosh ji is the Chief Operating Officer of the Home and Spaces Incubator. So when we discuss the Home and Spaces related startup, he's the person to go to, and he's doing a lot of work. Thank you, Ashutosh ji, for this. Investment and funding. All these startups need this kind of funding. Early stage funding. And this is the one which is most difficult to come by. Once the idea is proven and is on ground, there are a lot of people willing to fund. But who is going to take the early risk? So, your angels. So, we are creating an angel pool. Angel pool, not which is sector agnostic, but an angel pool specifically for the fashion and fashion industry. So, that is what we are looking at. NIFT has a huge alumni base. 70 to 80% of our alumni have kind of shaped the industry, and I can say that with pride. And when we look at that, we have started connecting with our own alumni and their own ideas. They're contributing back into the system. Now, if there is a young startup, he wants to do things. Where is the money for the development of prototypes? Where are these machineries? You need those machineries to create those prototypes. Government of India, through Ministry of Textiles, has given Nfdi a large grant through which we are buying those machineries. Those machineries which cost a lot of money and is available for each and every incubatee into a system to use it. I mean, they could just get in touch with any of the chief operating officers of the 4 incubators and say that I want to use this machine. Use the machine, get a prototype development done, get it validated from the customer, and then you can move towards commercialization. When we were building this, so there was this lot of thought, how do we go about it? Is our method right? Or our thinking has to be tweaked in certain other manners? So we invited one of the topmost management schools, the Indian Institute of Management, practitioners from that to come and work with us on that, and we started looking at these elements. We wanted to have corporate connect. We wanted to have the mentors on board, multiple events. So this is where I and Mr. Yash, we had a conversation that let's do these events, and these events will help us connect with the multiple people, and that will give rise over a period of time to the network itself. We are also working with Startup India. Startup India has about good amount of companies on board, and again, there are more than 7,000 companies in the fashion and textile system with Startup India. The question is, how do we mentor these people? There are people who have got brilliant ideas. The early certification has happened, the government has issued the certification, but next what? So we want to have these mentors. That's why I'm repeating this time and again. I'm looking for mentors. I want to create a national pool of mentors in the fashion and textile space. Startups, not a challenge at all. We have enough number of startups in this space, enough number of people who want to do things, but we need to give them the right kind of guidance. If the correct guidance is not given, they are going in tangential directions. They're not understanding and do not understand the business. They love their products, and that is why the concept of product myopia comes into picture. And being in love with a product is very nice, but if you are not able to link it to the business, and the buyer is not willing to open his or her own purse to buy the product, what is the use of that product? Okay, because the startup exists for commercial purposes. Here we are not talking of just research. So we are looking at that element. Thereby this becomes important. You had the secretary from the skill development and entrepreneurship on the stage some time ago. So we have had a discussion with him. So we are looking at a lot of them coming and working with us. Technology. Can things work without technology? Well, absolutely not. What are the technologies we are talking about? How do we move forward? That's something which Nfdi is working on. So we want to look at a triangulation of artificial intelligence, blockchain and IoT together. And when we put all these elements together and apply it to one of the oldest industrial sectors, which is textiles, a lot of possibilities emerge out. We talk about enhancing the income of the artisans. Yes, you can do it through blockchain. You want to look at the demand side of things, artificial intelligence is there. When you want to capture the product attributes, IoT is there. It is us who have to think so that we can move forward. So, putting some numbers into perspective, look at the numbers. Fashion, textile, apparel, design. This is directly a few days ago from the Startup India database. So, ideation, validation, early attraction and scaling. Government of India has divided into these 4 elements, and you see a number of 7787. This is a large number, and these are ideas which have been validated at early stage by Government of India. Okay, so these are not really run of the mill. A guy comes and says, if I want to do a fashion and textile startup. No, the presentations have been made, the companies are in existence, the private limited or LLPs, okay, and so we start working with these, and thereby the industry connect, the market access. My request to my friends from overseas is this, that we must get into a closer collaboration so that your startups from your country can have a market access to the Indian market, and these 7,000 odd the companies in the fashion and textile can look at markets overseas. As Yash rightly mentioned, we want to look at Africa as a big market. That collaboration is something which we want to do. How do we do this? Number of events. The events will help us to connect. But what happens further than that? There will be a lot of engagement at the startup level per se. We are also working with the UBI, University Business Incubator in Finland, to look at startups from India going to the Nordic countries, and so thereby we are looking at North America. So the market access is a crucial element. Now, India itself is a very large market. Foreign trade, fine, okay, but what price point should these products be available? So that is something which we are looking. I watched your presentation, and very nice, and we can look at collaborating in multiple ways with the country on this. Department of Science and Technology, we're going to work with them also. See, look at this. Here is some example. I've been talking about mentors. A mentor has to be somebody who has spent time, energy in build. All of these guys have built their own companies. Some of them have sold their companies. Okay, only if you've done that, you can qualify to be a mentor. Yes, a youngster also can be a mentor, but if he has been through the process, you may be a great academician. Okay, could have written 30 research papers, but building one business is a different skill set. The guy who builds a business may not be able to write half a page of a research paper. That's all right, but he is good in that area. So we need to link, the correct linkages have to be established. Here are some of the industry connects, and this is where I am again requesting the industry and friends who can connect me further to the other aspects of the industry to join us and create an ecosystem where India, Africa and parts of Asia come together, and we create a startup ecosystem where all of us benefit from each other. Mauritius, great example. We've been speaking to these two gentlemen from Mauritius over the last 4 or 5 days together. Once the conference gets over, sitting down in our rooms, we are discussing late into the night how we can reach out to multiple countries, how their startups can come here. Thank you for the support both of you have been offering. Thank you so much. for this. So here are some engagements we have had with them. You can see the minister in our office. He's here. There were other diplomats who had come to the office to get into this marketing access availability, because a young startup definitely has a challenge on market access. The larger corporates do not. They have their own system, large marketing budgets. They can reach out. But what about this young person on ground? He could be great fit for a product, say in Zimbabwe. Great product fit in Ethiopia, Mauritius. I don't know where and how it can go. So can we give this platform? So that's what we are looking at. Some of the events we have done. So it all started with an engagement. We called it the National Stakeholder Meet. We brought all the stakeholders together at a single platform and wanted to really understand that, is our thought really correct? Our vision was go in a particular way, and when we got the inputs through the National Stakeholder Meet, fantastic. That was a great initiative taken by Khadi Foundation. Yes, thank you for this. It was through this, a lot of the government, the private sector, all of them got together at a single platform. And then we discussed threadbare that, okay, we need to do this. So a market access program, a financial access program, all of them emerged out from these. And then we created what we call the Nfdi market access program, and with Khadi, with other stakeholders in the system, we are working together to give reach. On the financial side, we need support both on the equity side and the debt side. Debt naturally comes later, where it is your product is already proven. So early stage funding is something which is happening, and we are trying to create a pool of funds which will help these startups go through the early pangs. So maybe what somebody needs, 50,000 rupees, 2 lakh rupees, 5 lakh rupees. If we can cross this bridge, okay, and move forward, things will happen. Ministry of Textiles is also looking at giving grants, but before the grant, you have to ensure, actually I would make that statement, and a strong statement, that your business is investable. An investable business means tomorrow somebody else would be willing to put in the money. So we would like, and we are trying to do that, showcase your product ideas to investors at an early stage itself. Yesterday we spent the whole day with a lot of startups making their pitches to us, and we kind of have shortlisted about 30 startups, and these startups will start looking at both market access, financial. So we have also asked them to list down their ask. What support do they need from National Institute of Fashion Technology or Ministry of Textiles would be willing to help. But let us know. If you do not let us know, how do we move forward? And this is my request again to my international partners. Let's engage. Okay, I'm sure there will be companies in Zimbabwe, Mauritius who would like to come here, would like to get into collaborations, but we must start somewhere. So these are the fledgling steps which we are taking. On the technology side, this is something which we have been debating, and this actually came out of a discussion with two people. Is Brajesh here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Brajesh and Amit. So we were kind of, so these two gentlemen are, can you stand up, both of you please? So we were having this open discussion, and the idea came that you have a lot of infrastructure. Can we leverage this infrastructure on a system, on a digital platform? And the whole idea naturally originated a long time back through Ashutosh ji, who is the Chief Operating Officer. Let's put all the infrastructure on the digital space. You have SaaS, software as a service. Then from software as a service, you move to infrastructure as a service. So we introduced this concept of TIaaS, textile infrastructure as a service, very specific. Have it on the system, and then anybody should be able to get into that system. Say, I want to utilize this machinery which is lying in West Bengal. Why not? Leverage that. Why should that machinery be just there? Also, we want to look at the usage of blockchain on traceability, on enhancing incomes. We want to create a system of a learning management system and look at pre-incubation space itself. We're also working with the Prime Minister's Employment Guarantee Program to kind of look at the funding aspect. This is at an early stage itself. Later on, this will get into a much more detailed level where we could look at the funding elements at various levels. So with the skill development, so look at here is an early glimpse of the kind of digital. Also naturally open it to global citizens in due course. Should be able to access a system. Should be able to see who are the mentors available. Okay, you want to look to why should I stand in that path and say, you should talk to this person only. Look at it, have that conversation. That is how a collaborative platform gets built up. And through this collaborative platform, you can actually leverage these things. Our friend Yash has been talking about, and Nimsi has been talking about one district, one product. So we want to look at one mentor, one incubating in the fashion and textile space, and build on that. Early stages here. So with this, I will draw to a close, and I'm open to questions. Any kind of questions, more than willing to ask. All right, thank you so much, and I'm always available. We can have a conversation offline. Thank you.